Our reading this morning from the book of Exodus tells us that God spoke all these words. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol. You shall not make wrongful use of the name of the Lord your God. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, wife, slave, ox, donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. I used to enjoy reading a comic strip called The Born Loser that occasionally, and I mean occasionally, made a profound religious point. In one, the born loser is sitting in his chair reading the Bible. His wife walks up to him and says, "Well, look who's reading the Bible. Ha, ha, ha." He suddenly sits up very straight and with great indignation replies, "I'll have you know I have followed the 10 Commandments all my life." As his wife walks away, she says, "Too bad you never caught up with them." Growing up in the Bible Belt, the 10 Commandments caught up with me at a very young age. Along with my King James red letter version of the Bible came hours of memorizing certain biblical texts taught to me by my Southern Baptist grandmother. And of course, the 10 Commandments were right at the top of the list. I could say them by heart by the time I was 6 years old. They defined religion to me as a child. That's what the church and God were all about, I thought. A set of rules that you dare not break upon threat of hell and damnation for all eternity. What was life-giving or nurturing about that? Nothing, which is probably why as soon as I went to college, I didn't darken the door of a church. Obviously, I came back, but not for several years. The 10 Commandments can be very powerful in a person's life. So what's the best way to deal with them on a Sunday morning like today? Some denominations practically wave them around on a red banner and put them up on neon signs, whereas mainline denominations like ours don't often mention them, except once every 3 years when they come up in our lectionary reading like they did today. Interestingly, most of you here will remember, I think, that in the 1928 Book of Common Prayer, the 10 Commandments were read aloud every single Sunday during the Eucharistic service. But in our current 1979 prayer book, that's no longer a requirement, and they're only read usually during Lent. In fact, the 10 Commandments almost seem to have gone out of vogue. But are we better off for it? I don't need to recite all the things going wrong in the world right now to any of you here this morning. We are accosted by it every time we watch or read the news. Not only corporate sins, but private ones are the stuff of daily headlines that can take our breath away. Headlines that underneath involve soul-destroying behaviors requiring repentance and forgiveness. So what's the answer? I wonder what might happen if we looked at the 10 Commandments in a different light. Like the born loser's wife who feels that he is not caught up with the 10 Commandments, what if we tried catching up with them by looking at them from a positive point of view? While driving along the road, have you ever seen a sign, and I'll bet you have, that says danger, bridge out, dead end, or do not pass? What is the purpose of these signs? Is it to keep us from going where we want to go? To restrict our freedom? What would happen if we just ignored them and continued barreling on down the road? Most likely we would end up hurting ourselves or somebody else. The 10 Commandments are God's road signs for our spiritual journeys. They point us in directions that tell us, don't go that way. Danger, pain, and even death lie there. Instead, go this way. And we all need road signs, don't we? But a list of you shall nots can turn some people away rather than invite them in. I can't help but wonder how the 10 Commandments might have sounded if they had been written to tell us what to do rather than what not to do. Perhaps they would have sounded something a little like this. Then God spoke all of these words. Number 1, keep me at the center of your heart each and every day. Remember, I am with you. You are never alone. Never. As for idols, movie stars, and athletes come and go. But I, God, am here always. And your job you worry about day and night, it will come and go too. But I am here. I will never fail you. Even friends can come and go, but not me. I'm in it with you for the long haul. Number 3, as for the language you use, people will form opinions about you based on the words you choose. So why not choose words that make people notice how articulate you are? Did you know the dictionary has hundreds of words to express displeasure, and not one of them uses my name, God might say? He might say, if you use my name, use it for the good stuff. I've given you many, many blessings. Have you ever stopped to count them? If you must use my name, use it to tell others about those blessings. Number 4, I've given you this commandment in the positive. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Maybe that's because this one is so important that I felt it best just to come right out and tell you what to do. But it still hasn't really sunk in. I wonder how often any of us take an entire day for leisure, rest, prayer, or meditation. God set a Sabbath day, not a Sabbath hour or even a Sabbath morning. Take a full day and just spend it in reflection or with someone you love or care about deeply. A full day, every week, every single week. Number 5, honoring your parents is a good one, but perhaps I could give you some good ideas here, God might say. Have you called them on the phone lately? Have you told them how much you appreciate all the sacrifices they have made for you throughout your life? If you live with your parents, have you helped them cook dinner lately? Have you helped them clean up? Honoring can take many forms. Be creative. And if things have happened in your life that make it difficult for you to honor your parents, pray for them. Just pray for them and for yourself. Number 6, respect life. Respect the lives of people you do not know and will never meet. What do they need to stay alive? Medicine? Food? Clean water? Are my children dying for lack of these basic resources? Give it to them out of your abundance. Save the lives of my beloved children. Save them. Number 7, Honor the commitment you made to your spouse. Honor that commitment each and every day in big and little ways. If you do, it will come back to you 100-fold. Honor those commitments. Don't take them for granted. In doing so, you will be honoring yourself and my image within you and within your partner. Number 8, take what is yours. That is enough. I will provide for you everything you need and then some. Tell me what you need, what you lack, and let's get to work on it together. Number 9, tell the truth at all times about all things, especially about your neighbors. And who are your neighbors? All the children of God. Not just our friends or people in our neighborhood, but everybody in the global village. And finally, number 10, be content with what you've got. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. And if you get discouraged, and we all do, like I said in number 3, write those blessings down. You might be surprised at how many you have. Did that help? Even just a little bit? I hope so. Because if we don't catch up with the 10 Commandments, they may just catch up with us someday. And that sounds a lot like my grandmother talking.